Edward, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, Bert?
Now, Edward, I saw a video of you because you had your video
Yeah.
on, so I'd say you're what, like a mid 50s fellow, something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And this hand was played at Parx, right?
Correct.
Okay, so set it up 10-10 or
10-10-20 it turned into, but yes,
okay.
10-10-20.
And how deep were you guys? 4K, something like that?
Um, well, there was a few people in here. The shortest stack was about 2,000, and the largest stack was a little over seven.
So like 2 to
And I was
7,000
sitting on,
stacks. Okay.
yeah, and I had 35-ish at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm first act after the straddle with two black kings, and
Okay.
I opened to 80.
Standard open
The low
size?
Uh, pretty much for that game. Yeah,
Okay.
especially with the straddle.
Okay.
The low jack raises me to 250. He had about 2,000 behind. The button had raises to 750. So a cold four bet, which still didn't concern me.
And how much does he have behind?
He had everyone covered. He had
Okay.
about 75, I think.
Okay, so he covers and he four bets, okay?
Now, I put the small blind in the email, but it was the big blind five bet jams for about 4,000.
Oh my God, Edward.
Back to
So,
me.
so I loved this because I don't think I've actually ever talked about this spot. So he five bet jams for 4,000. So hero opens to 80. Low jack three bets off a 2K stack to 250. Button four bets to 750. And the big blind five bets here to 4,000. And I just wanted to, I don't know what your style is, Edward. You could be a maniac, but in general, when people don't know each other, tend to like, I'm not saying that mid 50s is old. I mean, Christ, I'm 42 and a half now. But, older people tend to play a little bit more patient, maybe not necessarily aggressive. I love this spot because, of course, I put up the YouTube video that I had commentated. I don't know if you saw it, Edward, from a couple times ago.
Garrett, yes.
Yeah, a couple of times ago with Garrett with King King.
With
Where
King, 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 Queen, Queen. Yep.
yeah, and I actually thought that he should have folded there.
There's the all in. There's the five bet all in. A five bet all in here from Haroon.
33-8. Coffee?
So JR is 140,000. And there's the all in. There's the six bet. Is Garrett going to fold? This is my question. Unbelievable.
I mean, I know that he might have thought that he under-upped, and that was a situation where he opened. There was I think that there was he opened. There was a three bet, a cold four bet from the blind. He called, and then the initial three better, I think five bet, and then the guy who four bet six bet. So he was facing a six bet all in, and it was for a lot. It was for 140.
Yep, 140.
Yeah, 140,000. And I was just like, man, I think I fold here. Now, what I find interesting here too, and when you first emailed me this hand, I think I fold here. I think I fold here. I haven't even looked at the chat, but I mean, if there's ever a spot to fold kings, now I know you're like you're only 200 big blinds deep, and people might say, well, he's only 200 big blinds deep, but I mean, my God, it's not just that you have to beat the big blind. It's that you've got all this action here behind you as well. So you have to overlay the fact that someone doesn't have aces here. And the fact that you have two kings sort of blocks the primary hand that you want to see as a bluff, which is like ace king here. So unless these guys are really out to lunch, Edward, I think I fold here. Let's see. People in the live chat tend to agree with me. Yeah, and they're saying
I did not.
fold.
I was at this table about a half an hour, and the guy that ended up five betting made a comment earlier about 15 minutes before that the guy that four bet would do well in a 20-40 game because his playing style very tight and very aggressive.
Okay.
And then when he five bets him, I figured one of those two have to have aces.
Yeah.
Now, I've never folded kings before, but under this specific configuration, I did fold it.
So hero folds. Before you tell me what ended up happening, I have to tell a little anecdote here. The one time, and a second one too, I've only folded kings one time. pre-flop in a cash game, okay? And the time that it happened, if anybody's familiar with some LA players, this guy, Asian David, he always wears a baseball cap, drinks a lot of Coors Light. I don't know if he does that anymore, but played a lot at the Hustler and stuff like that. So this was in like the mid-2000s, maybe 2015, 2016. And it got into a situation, I don't remember the exact spot, but I had kings. And he might have cold 4-bet somebody, and I might have just clicked up like a 5-bet. Maybe it went like raise, re-raise, 4-bet, and then I clicked up a 5-bet. But I was basically committed because the game was a 1,500 cap. I don't remember specifically the amounts. So I click up a 5-bet. Everybody else folds. It gets back around to him. And he's like, Bart, you're a good player. You're a good player. He turns over aces. Now, by the way, I'm like committed. Like I probably broke the threshold where I probably should have just shoved. He turns over aces. And he's like, I don't want the action. I don't want the action. He didn't want the bad beat. He didn't want the bad beat. So he showed me the aces. So obviously I folded kings. And that was the one time that I folded kings. Now there was another story too. Now I don't know if this is an urban legend or what, but it's very, very interesting. And I think it was from an email from someone that said that a similar situation happened where it was aces and kings. And the guy in the hand did exactly what David did, where maybe the king's 4-bet, the guy with king's 4-bet, and the guy with aces put in, like, went all in, okay? Turned his hand over and said, like, I have here, I've got aces. Like, he showed it before it was back over to the guy with kings. And the guy with kings said, I don't care. I'm not good enough to fold this. And he called anyways. After the guy showed him aces, he called anyways. Now, I'm not that much of a degen, but I don't know if that's true. I know the Kings one was definitely true. So you fold, and what ended up happening?
Everyone folded out.
Everyone folded out, so you never got to see what the guy had, the 5-better.
Well, in the beginning, he wouldn't tell me, and then later on, he admitted to having aces.
Oh.
But like I told him, whether you had it or not, it was a great play. I only had 80 invested. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
I mean, listen, like that level of bluff just is not going to really exist. I mean, for someone to be like, well, I can get Edward off of king here. What about all the other guys, though? He's putting his stack at risk, though, too. The initial 3-better and the 4-bet. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Not for a cold 5-bet. I just wanted some input because, like I said, it's my first time folding kings, but I thought that was the spot to do it.
Absolutely. I think this is the spot to do it, and I really wouldn't even think twice. When I first read your email, I was like, man, if we want to come up with a scenario where folding kings is correct, this has got to be it. So I think you made a good play, Edward. I appreciate it.
No, I thank you.
All right.